The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Kurre and Klapow live on Facebook Live every Thursday, and we'll podcast these. You can listen to them on the Tony Kurre Radio Podcast Network. I just pull up TKR, Tony Kurre Radio Podcast, and you can find them. It's Kurre with a K, K-U-R-R-E. We have over 1,200 shows up on our podcast network right now. There shows everything from computers.
Right.
I forgot to mention Dark Side of the Pooch.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of my favorite shows with Dr. Rabstro and the Rossbridge Animal Hospital. We talk about pet care. It's fantastic. So check out our podcast. And of course, download the TKR app. It's super easy. Takes you 5 seconds. It's free. It's classic rock all day, and then we run all of our shows. So I'm taking my daughter to school. I love driving my kids. It's about a 25-minute ride. I got to go back and forth 3 times this morning, so I'll be driving for 3 hours. It's just a way for us to talk a little bit, engage. I love taking my kids into school. I like when they ride the bus too, because from a cultural standpoint, I think it's important that they're with other kids. But it's super cool. So she asked me this question this morning. Dad, Yolala Jane, how many genders are there? I said, what?
Each one of these.
She said, how many genders are there? I said, there.
Wait, can you, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Do you ever ask her, like, I don't even know how, I got to figure out how to phrase this. Where is this coming from?
Well, I mean, she's learning it. She's hearing it from school.
You think so? It's
the
school.
LGBTQ plus thing is.
No, so it's school.
Girls talk about it all the time. I don't think boys talk about it nearly as
well,
much
because
as
boys
girls
are
do.
dumb. They don't understand.
Well,
the boys don't understand. Not at 11.
She's the same one that asked, "What would the world look like with no men in it?"
Well, that's what I'm saying. Lila's a little bit different than most, in a good way. In a good way. Yeah,
she's super smart. She asks these very complex
she is
questions
very
in a very simplistic way.
You know why?
Genders are? I said.
You know why she does that?
Yeah.
She gets that her dad's a radio guy.
Maybe.
Cut to
she
the
gives
chase.
me content. Like I talked to her just to find out what I should be talking about.
Okay.
I said there are 2.
Okay.
She said only 2. I said there are 2 genders.
Okay.
And of course, you know, I like to read the Bible.
Yeah.
I believe in the resurrection. I believe all the wonderful things. And I said, if you read the Bible, there's 2.
Okay.
I said, there's a male and a female. And she goes, well, why do we do the they and the plural and the LGBTQ? And I said, here's the difference. There are 2 genders, male and female, but you can identify as anything as you want. There are a lot of gender identifications, but there are only 2 genders, male and female. You can identify as a giraffe for all I care.
But here's but the other piece though is that we used to think that not only is anatomically there's 2 separate genders, you're either this or that. We used to believe, and some people still do, although it is changing, and whether you like it or not, it is changing. We believed that whichever box you were in, and I'm not talking about, so transgender is a different situation, because transgender basically says, I'm anatomically in one box, but I shouldn't be because within my DNA, it's wrong, because that's different. But one of the things that we are learning psychologically and socially is that the being in the box as far as how you feel about yourself, how you perceive yourself and others, it isn't cut and dry. This is why we talk about gender fluidity, right? So there are definitely people who say, yes, I'm anatomically male, but my feeling about myself is not as cut and dry as male only.
Yeah.
And this is where the pronouns come in. Because the pronouns are there not to, your pronoun or my pronoun, just because I know we are he, his. We don't go by they because our feeling about ourselves is less fluid.
Yeah.
But you can't, and this is the part where this is the old person people, the old person generation thing. Gender fluidity is not like this trend because it's been around, much like homosexuality, forever. The difference is socially we've allowed it to rise up and have people talking about it and talking about how they really feel. And that's where the pronoun part comes in, because the pronoun part is a way of saying, look, there are more choices than you are a he or a she. You are anatomically a he or a she.
Yeah.
Don't disagree with you there. But what people are saying is, it's not just because you're anatomically this, it doesn't mean that other parts of you are as consistent. And people have such a hard time with that, and I understand that. It's hard to wrap your head around, totally hard to wrap your head around, particularly if you don't fall in that category. But if you are someone who falls in that category, if you have a child who falls in that category, if you have a friend who falls in that category, and I always say this, I say this about gender fluidity, I say this about homosexuality, talk to them, ask them how they perceive themselves. Do it not from a judgmental standpoint, but do it as a way to say to yourself and them, I don't get it.
Yeah, and for people that want to think that maybe this is a trend and maybe this is like the cool thing to be that way, there's a 40% suicide rate for transgender people in this country. 40%.
40%.
So, I don't care what your beliefs are. That's scary and sad for the individual.
That is so high.
For someone that all of a sudden says, you know what, I want to be different. I want to change. Why would you want to be scrutinizing and be criticized for your life for making a change at the age of 16, 26, 36, whatever it is, if in fact you didn't actually believe that you were that person? I think tolerance, acceptance, whatever it is, but the truth of the matter is, there was a man, his name was Adam, there was a woman, his Eve, and that's it. But we can identify as whatever you want.
So here's what scares people.
For the same reason people can marry plants.
Well, but here's what scares people all the time. Is they say, well, if we're going to allow that, then all these other terrible things are going to happen. And that we have boxes for reasons. Some people say it was God, some people say whatever. And this is the part. We want our lives, this is a natural part of being human, is the default is we want things to be clear.
Yeah.
We don't want anything in between, because in between adds uncertainty. Sure. Uncertainty adds fear. But the reality is we have lots of things that are uncertain, including, and this is where people, again, get very upset. There's a whole belief that, now with gender fluidity and different sorts of identification and different sorts of sexual identities and sexual identification, that we're opening our kids up to way too many things that could destroy them. I laugh at that. Like, what do you mean we're opening it up? Like, what do you think? It didn't come out,
Well, and who are the people that are saying that? The parents.
Right, exactly.
We don't want to deal with it.
That's exactly.
It scares the hell out of us, because I don't think we actually are afraid for our children because of all the things that perhaps they could become. It's the parent that we have to try to describe to them what they're trying to go through and why they feel the way they do. And that's the scary part, because a lot of parents just don't understand.
So, okay, I'll give quickly. Can I give you my tip on that?
Sure.
Because this is so important. If you, as a parent, cannot wrap your head around what your child's going through, and you're trying to be a good parent, for the love, do not make shit up and say, well, this is the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because if you really don't understand what's going on and you can't wrap your head around it, the best thing you can say to your kid is, I love you. I don't understand this. Tell me more about what's going on with you. Don't pull the all-knowing parent thing.
You can't do this or you can't do that or whatever.
Particularly if you don't know why.
Yeah. Realize as a parent, you're the seed planter, right?
Well, you are, but you're also not all-knowing.
Yeah.
Like, own up to that you're not all-knowing. And guess what? Your kids respect that more.
Yeah.
They respect it more. They don't want to have to wade through the bullshit factor.
Yeah.
So that's what
I always say it's the mysteries of life.
Perfect.
It's lots of mysteries. A lot of things
Perfect.
We're still trying to figure things out.
I think that's a great.
We don't know what's under 70% of our oceans. I can't tell you what lives down there. I don't know.
See,
but there
that's
are
so
mysteries, and there's mysteries in the Bible, there's mysteries in everything we do.
That's so good. That's fine.
We're constantly learning.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know.
It is.
As a parent, say, you know what? I thought about that myself. I don't know. I just know that I'm accepting, and I try to be open to debate and different.
But don't freak out because your kid says something, and so sort of take this false position that you really don't know anything about.
Yeah.
you're not fooling your kid.
Yeah, my daughter.
Particularly Lila Jane. Like, you never know.
My daughter asked me today because we got two gerbils, and we thought they were both females, and I think one of them's pregnant. And she's like, how's that possible? And I said, I don't know. I said, do you ever watch Jurassic Park? She said, yeah. And I said, you remember when they found the egg? Remember they genetically altered all the dinosaurs to make sure they were all male or female so they wouldn't procreate, right? And I said, they found the egg. And I said, and what did Jeff Goldblum say? Where there's life, there's a way. I said, maybe we have gotten the first 2 female gerbils to have babies. Or maybe one's just getting fat.
Immaculate conception. Gerbil, in the gerbil world. It happened.
There's something.
It happened once.
I don't think my gerbils were virgins.
I don't know what it says in the Bible, but like it happened once.
Well, I don't know what the incubation period is on gerbils. I've had them for 3 years, so I don't think it takes that long. Maybe she got banged up before I got her, but I don't think that's the point. We'll call Richard Gere during the break to find out more about gerbils in dark places. All right, quick break, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to be talking on Fox 6 this morning. We're talking about working women. You're gonna I know I gotta be.
You are gonna step.
I gotta be super careful. No, I am so close to the sun on this topic. I gotta be super careful.
Yes,
because there are a lot of.
Yes, you're gonna have to.
Don't miss our next segment. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna love it. See you in a minute.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.